Okay, let's tackle the second half of part 4, King of Glory. Like I said, that was more of a foundational thing, just to get a few concepts. Let's bring Yeshua, let's bring Messiah into the picture. Psalm 102. But you, O Yah, shall be enthroned forever, and the remembrance of you be to all generations. For Yah shall build up Zion, he shall appear in his kavod, in his esteem, the kavod that he doesn't share. Now again, I'm going to bring up Isaiah, just to say he doesn't share it. So Yah shall build up Zion, and he shall appear. The word appear there literally has this idea, you will see him. Now let's link this to what Yeshua had to say, Matthew 25. And when the Son of Man comes in his esteem, so we know who the Son of Man is from Daniel 7, and all the set apart messengers with him, then he shall sit on the throne of his esteem. And all the nations shall be gathered before him, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd separates his sheep from the goats. Now we have several things in this passage, and we're going to kind of break it down. We have the Son of Man, that's obvious, and we've kind of looked at that already. The Son of Man coming in his esteem. So the Son of Man has glory. He also has a throne of glory. And he also judges the nations. These are the themes within this passage. So we're going to look at each one of these. Where does the Son of Man get his esteem from? I think that's a fair question. So there's two ways of reading the Son of Man shall come in his esteem. Either the Son of Man comes in his own esteem or in his, pointing upwards, esteem. This is what I'm alluding to. Which is it? So I asked the question, where does the Son of Man get his esteem from? And we've already kind of looked at this. Daniel 7:13, I was looking in the night visions and saw one like the Son of Man, coming on the clouds of heaven. We've looked at the cloud rider. And he came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And to him was given rulership, preciousness, and a reign, that all peoples, nations, and languages should worship him. So this is where the Son of Man is getting his esteem from the Ancient of Days. He's given a kingdom. If he's given a kingdom, by extension, he's given a crown to rule over it. Again, Psalm 8 verse 4, what is man that you remember him, and the Son of Man that you visit him? Because the prophet Daniel makes the term Son of Man a prophetic term, it means we can now go back to the Psalms and see messianic allusions in these Psalms. Yet you have made him less than the angels, less than the divine council, and have crowned him with esteem, with glory, kavod, and splendor. You made him rule over the works of your hands. You have put all under his feet. This should bring up Psalm 110, where it says, sit at my right hand until I make all the nations your footstool under your feet. So we clearly see that this divine king is given a crown. He's given esteem. Again, Yah doesn't share esteem. Psalm 21:3, you put before him the blessings of goodness. You set a crown of fine gold on his head. Through your deliverances, esteem is great. You have laid excellency and splendor on him. So clearly the Davidic king, this messianic figure, is being given esteem. He's being given a crown. Isaiah 40, I really like this prophecy. Comfort my people, says Yah, your Elohim. Speak to the heart of Jerusalem and cry out to her that her hard service is completed, that her crookedness is pardoned. So clearly this is talking end times, maybe a future prophetic day of atonement, that she has received from the hand of Yah double for all her sins. The voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of Yah, make straight in the desert a highway for our Elohim. Let every valley be raised, and every mountain hill be made low, and the steep ground shall become level, and the rough places smooth. This should have a new depth to it after part 3 that we covered. And the esteem of Yah shall be revealed. and all flesh together shall see it, for the mouth of Yah has spoken. Now this is we all hold that this is a messianic psalm. And it says the glory of Yah shall be revealed. Now remember in the first half I said when Ezekiel had a vision and he saw the throne and he saw the cherubim and he saw one like that looked like a man. It actually says he saw the glory of Yah. He saw the kavod. Which is interesting because here it's saying the glory of Yah shall be revealed. And Yeshua has just said that the Son of Man will come in his esteem. You who bring good news to Zion, get up into the high mountain. You who bring good news to Jerusalem, lift up your voice with strength. Lift it up, be not afraid. Say to the cities of Yehudah, see your Elohim. So here it's saying like the esteem of Yah shall be revealed, see your Elohim. So this insinuation that this is the esteem of Yah being revealed is Elohim. See, the master comes with a strong hand, and his arm rules for him. See, his reward is with him, and his recompense before him. Now, just as a heads up, we're going to do a whole part in this series on the hand and the arm of Yah. Because this should bring us back to Passover. I have redeemed you with an outstretched arm and hand. This type of, and we're going to look at it. There's amazing things with this motif. And he feeds his flock like a shepherd, and he gathers the lambs with his arm, and he carries them in his bosom, gently leading those who are young. And again, we're going to do another part on the shepherd. Zephaniah 3. Shout for joy, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O Yisrael. Be glad, rejoice with all your heart, O daughter of Jerusalem. Yah has turned aside your judgments. He has faced your enemy. The sovereign of Yisrael, Yah, is in your midst. He's in your midst, within us. Not within us, but within us, sort of thing. No longer need you fear evil. In that day it shall be said to Jerusalem, do not fear Zion, do not let your hands be weak. Yah, your Elohim, is in your midst, is mighty to save. He rejoices over you with joy. He is silent in his love. He rejoices over you with singing. Now, I think that these two passages, Isaiah and Zephaniah, should bring up this. Therefore, Yah himself gives you a sign. Look, the maiden conceives and gives birth to a son. He shall call his name Emmanuel, which means God with us. I believe if you link these things together, it's there. I don't want to get into this. Is it a virgin? Is it a young woman? That's a different can of worms. Now, just included within this, I want to ask who's building Zion? Because Psalm 102:16 says, for Yah shall build up Zion, he shall appear in his esteem. Now, in Zechariah 6, it says, thus said Yah of hosts, saying, see the man whose name is the branch. So we've established who the branch is. From his place he shall branch out. He shall build the Heichal, the temple of Yah. It is he who's going to build the Heichal, the temple of Yah. It is he who's going to bear the splendor. He's going to bear the splendor, and he shall sit and rule on his throne, and shall be a priest on his throne, and the council of peace shall be between them both. So not only does he build up the temple, he decrees to build the temple, but he bears the splendor. And I want to link this to he's bearing the name, the authority. I believe that when we pull all these things together, this is what Yeshua is referring to. The fulfillment of the aforementioned prophecies is when the Son of Man comes in his esteem. That when it says, Yah shall be in your midst, the esteem of Yah shall be revealed. I believe this is what Yeshua is talking about. Now, let's look at the aspect of him being a judge. So this little section is, where does his glory come from? Let's look at the judging part. In Psalm 96:8 it says, ascribe to Yah the esteem, the glory of his name, bring an offering and come into his courts. Now, again, I would just want to bring the esteem to his name. Where we would suppose this is worship. Bow yourselves to Yah in the splendor of set apartness. Tremble before him all the earth. Say among the nations, Yah shall reign. The world is also established, immovable. He judges the peoples in straightness. So it's clearly Yah that's doing the judging of the nations here. Let the heavens rejoice and let the earth be glad. Let the sea roar and all that fills it. Let the field exult and all that is in it. Let all the trees of the forest then shout for joy at the presence of Yah. For he shall come to judge the earth. He judges the world in righteousness and the peoples with his truth. So what is his truth? His word, his Torah, his righteousness. So he's going to judge what will be the plummet, right? What will be the standard by which he judges. Psalm 98 verses 8 and 9. Let the rivers clap their hands and let the mountains sing for joy before Yah, for he shall come to judge the earth. He judges the world in righteousness and the peoples in straightness. So again, in righteous, if I'm not mistaken, the word there, straightness, is mishor, that word we were looking at, like a plane. And a rod shall come forth from the stump of Yeshua, Isaiah 11, and a sprout from his roots shall bear fruit. The spirit of Yah shall rest upon him, the spirit of wisdom, understanding, the spirit of counsel, might, the spirit of knowledge and the fear of Yah. And he shall make him breathe in the fear of Yah. And he shall not judge by the sight of his eyes, nor decide by the hearing of his ears. Now but with righteousness he shall judge the poor. What did we just read? That Yah shall judge the world in righteousness. And shall decide with straightness. Again, this word is coming out, straightness. For the meek ones of the earth shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth and slay the wrong with the breath of his lips. Therefore, we've got several things. The judge of the earth is the Son of Man. We've just, in Daniel 7, that he shall judge all the nations. We've just read that it's Yah himself as well, as according to the Psalms. The branch and root of Yeshua. How do we reconcile these things? These can only synergize if all these are manifestations of Elohim, of Yah. Let's look at the throne of esteem. Yah shall reign, Psalm 99:1. Yah shall reign, peoples trembled. He is enthroned on the cherubim, the cherubim. The earth shakes. In Psalm 80 it says, give ear, O shepherd of Yisrael, who led Joseph like a flock, who dwell between the cherubim, shine forth. So now Yah is equated to the shepherd of Israel in this. Now what's interesting is in Genesis 49 it says that his bow, as in Joseph's bow, remained in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty one of Yaakov. From the mighty one of Yaakov, is the shepherd of Yisrael, the stone of Yisrael. So again, there seems to be this blurring. Yah's the shepherd, Yah's the stone, but here it's saying that from Yah will come the shepherd and the stone. Psalm 29:10. Yah sat enthroned at the flood. Yah sits as sovereign forever. Again, who's the king of all the earth? Psalm 102:12 and 16. But you, O Yah, shall be enthroned forever, and the remembrance of you to be to all generations. For Yah shall build up Zion, he shall appear in his esteem. So when Yeshua is saying that the Son of Man shall appear in his esteem, there's clear parallels here. There's clear parallels. The esteem of Yah shall be revealed. All eyes shall see the esteem of Yah. Now what's interesting, I'm bringing these up because it speaks of Yah being enthroned forever. Yet we clearly saw the Ancient of the Days sat on a throne, and we saw the Son of Man being given a throne. Daniel 7:14, to him, to the Son of Man, was given rulership and preciousness and a reign, that all peoples, nations, and languages should worship him. His rule is an everlasting rule which shall not pass away, and his reign that which shall not be destroyed. Now what's interesting, Jez brought this up in men's discipleship, is that this is clearly speaking of the Son of Man in Daniel 7:14. Yet Paul then says that the Son shall hand over the kingdom to the Father, which means that the Son of Man's reign technically has an end because it's given over. His rule is over because it's been. Do you see what I mean? So are these contradictions, or is there just something that we can't comprehend? I would lean to the latter. You know, one thing that came up in the break is that we puny humans, you know, we try and conceive and try to put Yah in a box almost, and we're trying to understand him. Psalm 2:6, I have set my sovereign on Zion, my set apart mountain. Wisdom, I was set up ages ago at the earth before the earth ever was. To me, this is the key to be able to synergize all these things. Because we've already mentioned how wisdom will be the promised Davidic king and Messiah. I'm repeating a lot for a reason. So that, because there's a lot of scriptures and passages. This implies a divine and eternal king Messiah. Because if the king is wisdom, and wisdom is of Yah, this implies wisdom was forever, therefore this Davidic king is more than just mortal. Let's unpack the idea of an eternal king Messiah. It's actually all over the Tanakh. In Habakkuk 1, we're going to link a few words together. Are you not from everlasting, O Yah, my Elohim, my set-apart one? You do not die. O Yah, you have appointed them for right ruling. O rock, you have established them for reproof. So again, there's this rock thing coming in again. Now, the word for everlasting, are you not from everlasting? Literally, it says, halo ata mikedem. So, are you not from everlasting, from ancient? This would be better translated, are you not of old / ancient? Kedem is an interesting word. It can mean east, so literally the direction east, but it can also mean old, ancient, and this idea of before the earth. This is the inference. So Yah is from Kedem, okay? He's from ancient. In Psalm 68 it says, sing to Elohim, you reigns of the earth, praises to Yah, Selah. To him who rides on the ancient highest heavens, see he sends out his voice, a mighty one. So we included this passage in the cloud rider in the first half of this teaching. Ascribe to Elohim, ascribe strength to Elohim. His excellence is over Yisrael, and his strength is in the cloud. So this is speaking of the cloud rider. Now the cloud rider, which we know from Daniel is the Son of Man, rides on the ancient highest heavens. Literally, so here it says, to Elohim, to him who rides the ancient highest heavens. But we saw in Daniel that the Son of Man shall come riding on the clouds of heaven. Now, this literally says, Bishmei Shmei Kedem. Yeah, I know. Literally, it means on the ancient heaven of heaven. That's what Bishmei Shmei. It's a truncated form of Shemayim. So this cloud rider is on the ancient heaven of heavens. And we've just read that Elohim is from Kedem. It's the same word, by the way, Kedem. So the heavens, obviously they're ancient. He created them right at the beginning of, creation. But then Yah is from Kedem. Micah 5, we know this one. But you, Beit Lechem Ephratah, you who are little among the clans of Yehudah, out of you shall come forth to me the one who become ruler in Yisrael. I mean, this is clear. This is going to be the ruler. And his comings forth are of old from everlasting. And he shall stand and shepherd in the strength of Yah, in the excellency of the name of Yah his Elohim. And they shall dwell, for at that time he shall be great to the ends of the earth. Now we know that this is how, when Herod asks, where's the Messiah going to be born, right? The teachers of the law come back with this, well, it'll be in Bethlehem. That's why all the 2-year-olds get slaughtered. The phrase of old from everlasting in verse 2 literally says, Mikedem mimei olam. So again, this word, from Kedem, Mimei is from the days, Yom is in there, and Olam, Le Olam Va'ed, forever and ever. You should recognize these terms. It is better translated, of old or ancient from the days of eternity. And his comings forth are of old and ancient from the days of eternity. Think about this. The ruler who will come forth, his comings forth, his appearings are from old, ancient, from the days of eternity. Yeah, it's fine. So Micah is telling us that this ruler that will come forth from Bethlehem, he's from ancient. Think about this. This cannot be just a mere man. This is clearly a divine figure. Please note, the ruler will also be called the shepherd. We're going to look into this. And not only that, he can bear, going ahead of myself, he can bear the excellency of the name of Yah. Again, he can hold that name of glory, the glory which cannot be shared. This should give us at least some characteristics for the identity of this Messiah. Proverbs 8, we've gone through this passage a few times now. Yah possessed me of old wisdom, the beginning of his way, as the first of his works of old. It's this word again. Literally ancient, so it says Kedem, Mif Alive, Me'az, ancient of his works from then. It's a really hard sentence to translate actually. You'll see quite a few different English translations from this. But that's the literal, ancient of his works from then. And this is speaking of wisdom. I was set up. So again, this word, nasach, is coming in. And this is the same word used. I have set my king on Mount Zion in Psalm 2. I was set up ages ago, at the first, before the earth ever was. This is the Me'olam nisachti, so that's this. Merosho. Merosho is at the head, at the beginning. Mi kedem, aretz. So again, this word, literally from eternity I have been established or anointed because of this word, from the beginning before the earth ever was. This is wisdom. Wisdom was there before. It was from Kedem. Yah is from Kedem. The ruler that will sprout in Bethlehem is from Kedem. Put these together. Whenever Kedem is used in terms of ancient, not of the direction east, it's always to do with Yah or the Messiah or wisdom, every single time. Isaiah 9, for a child shall be born unto us, a son shall be given unto us. The rule is on his shoulder, and his name is Wonder, Counselor, Strong El, Father of Continuity, Prince of Peace. And of the increase of his rule and peace there is no end upon the throne of David and over his reign, to establish it and sustain it with right ruling and with righteousness from now, even forever. The ardor of Yah of hosts does this. Again, the child that will be born of men is called a wonder. And we've linked this to the messenger of Yah, to wisdom, and to God's son, to the Davidic God's son, the promised Messiah. Mighty God. This is what this, it literally says El Gibor. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Father of the ages. And I believe that this is linking to the Ancient of Days and Son of Man. Now, how can the Father of the ages be born? This is what I'm hinting at. This child is not just any child. Is everyone with me? Can people see that at the very least, this coming king who came and who will come again is not just a mortal? This is an individual that was there from before the foundations of before creation. This is not just a mere man. However, we're told he will be born of men. It's just amazing. Okay, let's look at the idea of the scepter. We know what a scepter is, right? The scepter was a symbol of the king's authority and throne, and by extension his glory. Like the crown, like the throne, these were symbols of his rule, of everything of that king. The theme of the scepter in scripture has messianic allusions and associations, and especially in light of the promised king. There's some really cool things to do with the scepter. So let's look at some of these. Psalm 110, we'll finally get there. Someone said to me, are you going to include this? Eventually. Yah said to my master, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. This is the most exalted position a king can give you. Joseph was at the right hand of Pharaoh. This is what we're talking. Yah sends your mighty scepter out of Zion. Rule in the midst of your enemies. So Yah is sending the kings, the master, his scepter out of Zion. Think about this. Now again, on the Peshat, this is speaking of David. On the Peshat, on the surface level understanding. But again, we're going to see there's so many messianic allusions to this. So again, who is the king of Zion? But yet here we're saying Yah sends your scepter out of Zion. Now this is where the writers of the apostolic writings get the idea of the Son being exalted to the right hand of the Father. It's from this psalm. Hebrews quotes this. Peter quotes this. Yeshua quoted this psalm. However, we need to piece together a few scriptures to be able to come to this conclusion. We come to this conclusion because someone already made it for us. So how did they get there? Let's keep going in the psalm. Psalm 2. The sovereigns of the earth take their stand, and the rulers take counsel together against Yah and against his Mashiach, against his anointed one, and say, but then it says, I have set my sovereign in Zion on my set-apart mountain. I bring this up because I want to show you that this master is this king. That's why I'm bringing this up. I inscribe for a law. Yah has said to me, you are my son. Today I have brought you forth. So now we can see how they said the son will be at the right hand by bringing these psalms together. Ask of me and I'll make the Gentiles your inheritance and the ends of the earth your possession. This links to verse 2. Yah sends your mighty scepter out of Zion, rule in the midst of your enemies. You need to bring these psalms together to be able to say the son will sit at the right hand. Because in Psalm 110 verse 1 it just says my master. Break them with a rod of iron, dash them to pieces like a potter's vessel. Now the word here is different, it's shevet. But both mater, scepter, and shevet have the similar meaning. They can also mean a tribe. So a tribe was represented by the rod. And the head of the tribe had the rod. Isaiah 11, and a rod shall come forth from the stump of Yeshai, and a sprout shall come from his roots and shall bear fruit, and shall smite the earth with the shevet, the rod of his mouth, and slay the wrongs with the breath of his lips. Numbers 27:17. This is Balaam prophesying. I see him, but not now. I observe him, but not near. A star shall come forth out of Yaakov, and a scepter, a shevet, a king shall rise out of Yisrael, and shall smite the corners of Moab, and shall destroy all the sons of Sheth. So you can see how this scepter is being linked to messianic thinking. Therefore, we can ascertain that Psalm 110 is speaking of the Davidic king who is son of God and a manifestation of wisdom. Remember, when the writer of Hebrews is saying all these things, you're supposed to go, oh yeah, all these things. Verse 3, your people volunteer in the day of your might, in the splendors of set apartness. From the womb, from the morning, you have the dew of your youth. Yah has sworn and does not relent. You are a priest forever according to the order of Melchizedek. Look, we've already done teachings on this. Please refer back to them for in-depth on that. Yah at your right hand shall smite sovereigns in the day of his wrath. He judges among the nations. He judges among the nations. He shall fill the nations with dead bodies. He shall crush the head over the mighty earth. I believe this is a clear allusion to the winepress. He drinks of the stream by the wayside, therefore he does lift up the head. Now, I believe that he shall crush the head over the mighty earth is a reference to this. Genesis 3:15. I put enmity between you and the woman, between your seed and her seed. He shall crush your head, and you shall crush his heel. If you look in the Hebrew here, because some of the translations will say, he shall crush the heads of many nations. The Hebrew is singular. It says rosh So other translations have put, he shall crush the head that's over the nations. And the implication is that it's Satan. I would argue this is the correct interpretation in light of Genesis 3:15. Are people linking it? Psalm 45. My heart is overflowing with a goodly word. I address my works to the sovereign. So the psalmist is speaking to the king. My tongue is the pen of a speedy writer. So again, who's the king? I have set my sovereign on Mount Zion, my set apart mountain. For you have put him before the blessings of goodness. You set a crown of fine gold on his head. I'm bringing these up to show you that you can apply this to the Messianic king. He asked life from you and you gave it to him. Length of days forever and ever. Through your deliverance his esteem is great. You have laid excellency and splendor on him. This is the king that Yah puts his glory on. You are more handsome than the sons of men. Favor has been poured upon your lips, therefore Elohim has blessed you forever. Gird your sword upon your thigh, O mighty one, your excellency and your splendor. So again, he's saying gird yourself with excellency and splendor. And it's these terms, hod and hadah, which we know that the Elohim places on this figure. Again, Psalm 21:5, through your deliverance his esteem is great. You have laid excellency and splendor on him. I'm repeating these passages so you can start linking them together. Psalm 104:1, bless Yah, O my being, O Yah my Elohim. You have been very great. You have put on excellency and splendor. So is it on the king or is it on Yah? This is why I'm bringing these up. Again, there's these blurring of identities. Let's look at, again, this excellency and splendor. Zechariah 6:11, you shall take the silver and the gold and make a crown and set it on the head of Yehoshua, the son of Jehozadak, the high priest. Again, I want to bring this up. You set a crown of fine gold upon his head. We've already showed how Zechariah mentions Yehoshua as a type and shadow of the coming Messiah. And you shall speak to him and say, thus said Jah of hosts, saying, see the man whose name is the branch. Yehoshua is going to be a type and shadow of this branch. And from his place he shall branch out, and he shall build the temple of Yah. It is he who is going to build the temple of Yah. It is he who is going to bear the splendor, the hood. Again, it's this same thing that he's bearing. He can bear the authority, the glory. And he shall be a priest on his throne. Back to Psalm 45. Your arrows are sharp in the heart of the sovereign's enemies. Peoples fall under you. Your throne, O Elohim, is forever and ever, and the scepter, the shevet of your reign is a scepter of straightness. There's actually an ambiguity in who this is addressing. Is it addressing Yah or is it addressing the king? Because we just read in verse 1, I address the sovereign. I address the sovereign. And it says that your throne, O Elohim. So again, is there this blurring of identity? Now, in Psalm 89:29, speaking of David, I shall establish his seed forever, and his throne is the days of heavens. But we read that the heavens are from Kedem, they're of old, they're from before the ages. Speaking of Yah, Psalm 93:2, your throne is established from of old, you are from everlasting. And then speaking of the Messiah in Psalm 2:9, break them with a rod of iron, dash them to pieces like a potter's vessel. Again, the rod, the shevet, which means that the rod of the subject of Psalm 2 is forever. It's a scepter of straightness. Again, who's judging the earth? I know I'm throwing a lot at you guys and that it's 30-degree heat. Now, the word there for straightness here is mishor, a plane. This should bring back Zechariah 4:7. Who are you, great mountain? Before Zerubbabel you shall become a plain. Mishor. And he shall bring forth the capstone. We've already gone through who the capstone is, with shouts of favor to it. Link part 2, or is it part 3, to this now. Isaiah 11. And a rod shall come forth from the stump of Yeshai, and a sprout from his roots shall bear fruit. But with righteousness he shall judge the poor, and shall decide with straightness. Mishor. For the meek ones of the earth, and shall smite the earth with the shevet, the rod of his mouth, and shall slay the wrong with the breath of his lips. So this rod that's coming forth from Yeshai, is it this person here spoken of, Elohim? Your reign is a sceptre of straightness, of Mishor? Tie all these things together. All these scriptures regarding the scepter equate Messiah to the level of Elohim, I believe. On the same, he has the authority, the face of Elohim, the face of Yah. Who's the righteous judge? This is rhetorical, by the way. Who is the righteous judge? Is it Messiah or is it Yah? Who bears the glory, splendor, and excellency? Is it the Messiah or is it Yah? Because we've just read passages with both. Who is king? Who is the king? You have loved righteousness and hated wrongness. Therefore, Elohim, your Elohim, has anointed you with the oil of gladness more than your companions. People should recognize verses 6 and 7 from Hebrews. Hebrews quotes this. But here again, Psalm 2, verse 2, the sovereigns of the earth take their stand, and the rulers take counsel together against Yah and against his Mashiach, his anointed. The writer of Hebrews clearly makes verses 6 and 7 about the Son. Go read it. I can't remember if it's chapter 1 or chapter 2, but it's clearly speaking of the Son. So the writer of Hebrews is equating the Son to the level of Elohim. Okay, let's change gears with Psalm 45. We have a king. We've gone ad nauseum with this king, his throne, his crown, his scepter. Let's add a new dimension to this. Daughters of the sovereigns are among your precious ones. At your right hand stands the sovereigness in gold from Ophir. The king has a queen or a bride. The king has a bride. Listen, O daughter, and see and incline your ear and forget your own people in your father's house. When does a woman forget her own father's house? When she gets married. This should bring up the story of Ruth, by the way, who forgot her own people. Your people are now my people. She's no longer a Moabite. We're no longer of Egypt or Rome. We're of, right? He is our people. And let the sovereign delight in your loveliness, because he is your master. Bow yourself to him. This should bring up how Sarah called Abraham master. And the daughter of Tyre with a gift. The rich among the people seek your favor. I believe these are bridal gifts being given. The daughter of the sovereign is all esteemed within the palace. Her dress is embroidered with gold. What did a bride have to do? What has the bride done? But what did she do? She prepared her garments. A bride would have to make a wedding dress. She is brought to the sovereign in embroidered work. Maidens, her companions, following her, are brought to you. Maybe 10 of them? Remember, the 10 virgins were not the bride. They were the bride's entourage, right? Where's Yeshua plucking these ideas from, right? They are brought with gladness and rejoicing. They enter the sovereign's palace. Instead of your fathers are your sons, whom you appoint princes in all the earth. In all the earth. This is how you know. This is millennial talk now. This is those that will rule and reign in the coming kingdom. I cause your name to be remembered in all generations. Therefore, the people praise you forever and ever. Again, who's going to be praised forever and ever? Now I want to bring Ezekiel 20:37 to this. And I shall make you pass under the rod, the shevet, and shall bring you into the bond of covenant. This is clear marriage talk. Follow Ezekiel 20. This is end times. The promised king has a bride. The messianic king has a bride. The king that is also wisdom. She will rule with him. You know, I was thinking about this because I've been saying Yah doesn't share his glory, he doesn't share his throne, and he doesn't share his authority. And then I read in Revelation, it says, Yeshua says, as I sat down on my Father's throne, so you can. How do you get around this? The word echad. The two shall become one flesh. They are one. The authority is no longer shared. They are one. Anyway, this is why marriage is a beautiful mystery, actually. The groom and bride's sons will be appointed as princes throughout the earth. There's your pecking order. I hope that was a blessing. I hope it jostled some brain cells. I hope it at least got people to think from a different point of view. And I wanted to finish on this note because the king has a bride. And now we know who the king is. This should make it all the more wondrous, right? Amen?